All right. So greetings to all of you, and we are happy to be here. Thank you all for joining me tonight. And today I will be having a conversation, with each and every one of you on mental poisoning. First of all, what is mental poisoning? I believe all of you know, mental poisoning and how every one of us is actually affected, by this, issue of mental poisoning. But the problem is, a lot of us we only think of mental poisoning in the point of it is just a how do you call it in English? Um, we think of it only as the factor of a disease, but there are so many things and so many factors that goes into this conversation of mental poisoning that I will be sharing with each and every one of you today. So I humbly beg that you just be patient with us while we go into this conversation. I will be presenting my thesis, my theory to each and every one of you. While presenting the theory to each and every one of you, please kindly be civil. That is a humble appeal that I'm making to each and everybody. Be civil in the sense that whatever, please be very, very mindful in the comments that you give out to people. Do not just give out comments, like that, but be very mindful of the comments that you give out. That is one. Secondly, do kindly subscribe and do kindly follow us for more interesting and introspective conversation. Today we are going to be having this introspective conversation on mental poisoning, and I welcome each and every one of you, wholeheartedly, from my heart. But before we start this conversation, like everybody is aware and like you all know how we always do, let us do a simple exercise of breathing in exercise. So wherever you are, if you are sitting on your chair, I humbly appeal and I beg you to please stand up, and not stand up but sit upright. If you are sleeping on the bed, please sit upright. Even though I know you may be carrying some children, your baby, or you may be busy, but just sit upright. If you are cooking, kindly slow down the gas of your cooker, your burner. If you're driving, not a problem. Also, you can just be listening to this while you're driving and try to do the practice at the same time. I need only, for the first time, as we're going to start this conversation, I need just 60 seconds of your time. Only 60 seconds, not more, not less, just that. Just borrow me and spare me 60 seconds of your time for us to do a simple mindful breathing exercise and get ourselves in attunement and in alignment to the conversation that we are going to be having today. To all of you that is joining us, I welcome you all again. Thank you very much for joining us. All right, so let us do a simple breathing exercise. Wherever you are, I want you to place your right hand on your nose, like hold your nose with your with your right hand, and with your finger of Jupiter. People that don't know what is the finger of Jupiter, that is basically the finger that is after or before the big thumb. You know, with your finger of Jupiter, you're gonna press your left nose, and with your finger of Venus, which is your big thumb, you're gonna press your right nose. So with one finger, you block the breathing. You are going to block one nostril and breathe in with one, and then you close it again, and then you exhale with the other. So like that. So let us do this breathing exercise. All right. So breathe in. You block the nostril. Now you release. So you breathe in. Let us start for now by breathing in with your right nose. Exhale, inhale with your right nostril. You block it, and then you exhale with your left nostrils. All right. So breathe in. Now you're gonna breathe in with your left nostrils, and you're gonna release it from your right nostrils. Again. Now you're breathing in with your right nostrils. Exhale it on your left. Very good. Thank you all for participating. And I hope you all participated in this simple breathing exercise. I really, really hope you all participated. Now we're going to start this conversation. But before we do that, I want you to have a pen and a paper, a booklet. Just have a booklet with you because you never know, you never really can tell, where good fortune in terms of words, inspiration, knowledge can fall into your lap. So please have some book and some paper or a diary with you to just jot down and note down whatever it is that might make sense, to you. And I know that in the you're gonna have a lot of questions, but it's okay, not a problem. Questions are always, are always allowed. But before you start asking your question, let us finish. Let me present to you what my conversation is, and then at the end of the conversation, at the end of the class of my presentation, then questions can start coming in. If you start asking questions in the process whereby the conversation is going on, whereby I am presenting my thesis to you, it might be like a distraction, and we don't want that. And at the same time, please do not be stingy with your hands. Please be very, very generous with your hands by tapping on your screen, and also be generous from your purse also by also giving gift. So thank you very much. So before I'm going to start, I'm going to do a little prayer on my own part, which is, I humbly take the permission of my spiritual master. I humbly take the humble permission, and I beg for the divine grace and divine permission of my spiritual teachers and all spiritual masters that has always been there guiding me. I give reverence and salutation to my ancestors, that I beg them that they may be able to allow me to speak. I beg my spiritual masters that they may be able to allow me to speak, and to all of you also that are going to be listening to the sound of my voice. I humbly beg your permission that you give us the audience of your ear, that we might be able to speak for the glorification of the Lord, for the glorification of my ancestors, for the glorification of my teachers, my spiritual masters, and my gurus, and for my purification and for the purification of everybody that is going to be listening to the sound of our voice. So, thank you very much. And yeah, Hari Om Tat Sat. Okay, today we have a conversation, and the conversation is on mental poisoning. What is mental poisoning? You know, basically, all through our life, we all know that there are certain diseases that influences everybody. Everybody know that. There is no one on the surface of the earth that does not know about the disease that influences people. And this disease of mental poisoning has always it has been the number one killer of men. But we are not talking about a health disease. We are talking about a disease that is in the mind, influenced by thoughts of people, influenced by the projection of people, influenced by psychic and mental manipulators. This is what we are talking about today, because this conversation is not, first of all, this is not a medical conversation. Again, to everybody that might want to take this conversation as a source of a medical help, please don't take it too much as that. Do consult a medical doctor, for if you have any issues relating to your mental health and everything like that. But let us have a metaphysical explanation. Let us have a metaphysical, look. Let us have a metaphysical insight into this conversation of mental poisoning. First of all, you must understand that there are two types of poisoning. There are two types of poisoning, and that is mental and physical. Mental poisons are wrong thoughts which walk underground in the consciousness like contaminated stream to emerge even after years in wrong experience, illness, loss, or unhappiness. In as much as physical poison can destroy the body, mental poison can keep you bound and make you a slave to the selfish desires of others, their negative thoughts, and yours as well. Um, To many people that don't know, I would like to bring to your attention and to your notice that there exists in every individual, there exists an invincible antenna in each and every one of us, fueled by the influence of the waning and the waxing of the moon. So no one can become mentally unstable if not by the influence of the moon, which means that the moon plays a lot of role in however our mental situation goes, whereby we are, when we feel very much mentally depressed, mentally in anxiety, and all of that. All of these are based on the influence of the moon. So the moon is the number one thing, and hence that's why you hear that when people are in the psychiatric world, you call them lunatics. Why do you call them lunatics? It means people that the ocean of the moon or the ocean of the mind has, overflown, because there is a natural mental barrier that is always kept, that the universe has kept, which makes the ocean not to overflow its boundaries. But when the ocean of the water, when the water of the ocean overflows its boundary, it floods everywhere. Now, a person that their mind has overflown the boundary of reasoning and the boundary of thought is a person you call lunatic. And because of this, the moon creates, psychological problems in humans. The mind is the antenna that receives the evil thoughts projected through space from the mind of another person. Poisoned thoughts are like arrow darts that fly through the ethereal realms and has killed and claimed many lives. You must understand, every day when you wake up, you are walking on the street, you are being, they are poisoned darts. I don't know if any of you have seen a dart, before, or you've seen an arrow before. Now, walking on the street is like walking in the midst of thousands of arrows that are just being released 24 hours, every second, every millisecond from the minds of people. Now, these arrows that are being released 24 hours, every second, every hour from the minds of people is attacking people. The mind is receiving these darts. And because the mind is receiving these darts, a lot of people don't even know that majority of the thoughts that comes to them, whether it is good thoughts or bad thoughts, are not their thoughts. It is as a result of the thought that has influenced their mind by what the poison darts of other people's thoughts that they have received. So 24 hours every day we are left at a loss. When I mean a loss is that we are left unprotected, and that is why you see a lot of people do so many prayers. But the question is, what is the essence of prayers if you are praying to protect your physical body, but you are not praying to protect your mind? Because your mind is the receiver of all negative intentions, all negative thoughts, all negative projections. So, we walking into the street, walking into the marketplace, walking into the mall, walking into the place where there are crowded people or not crowded people, even in the midst of family members. The moment you enter into the midst of a family member and someone in that family member have a negative thought, whether the thought is that of envy, whether the thought is that of jealousy, whether the thought is that of anxiety, whatever that thought is, that thought automatically shoots. There's an arrow that is automatically released and it pierces the minds of people. Now, how is this arrow released? It is released by the eyes. The eyes is that which is being used to gauge, to see the arrow projection, and the arrows are being released. So when you look at a person and you see the eyes of a person, at that moment there is an arrow that is released upon you. People don't notice, but it is a fact. There are three arrows that are always released when you look at a person, when you see a person. One, it is the arrow of the individual's fear, the arrow of the individual's emotion, and the arrow of the individual's expectation. And sometimes this arrow is also mentally projected, that the moment you walk into a place and the person sees you, you start you start getting a little of how do you call it in English, you start getting the anxiety or some heart palpitation that is released by the person. Poison thoughts are like arrow darts that are flowing, so you must be mindful of this. Evil thoughts and wishes born in hate gather momentum. evil thoughts and wishes, that are born in hate, they always gather momentum like a hurricane and descends upon a helpless man or a helpless woman. The society remains at the mercy of the evil influence created by the minds of the vicious. A lot of us, we are just helpless animals. It is true, we must understand that. Hello, Kavita, how are you? A lot of us, we are helpless animals. Why, when I mean by helpless animals, is that we are at the mercy of the vicious thoughts of other people. When the vicious thoughts of other people are influencing you and attacking you left, right, center, and that is why sometimes when you go to bed, you cannot sleep. Why can't you sleep? Because of what? You have your body, your mind has been, it is like a radiation. If you go to a place whereby there's a lot of radiation, it will also affect you. No matter how much you try to protect yourself, some amount of that radiation is going to come to you. So the mind also is exposed to the radiation of other people's mind, to the viciousness of other people's mind. And you must understand that the viciousness of other people's mind is very, very strong. And what are the offsprings of mental poisoning? The offsprings of mental poisoning is 1, hatred, 2, self pity, 3, old age, and 4, loneliness. These are the offsprings. And because these are the offsprings of mental poisoning, a lot of people are afraid of these offsprings of it. A lot of people are afraid, oh, I don't want to be hateful to people. I don't know why, but I have this energy of hatred in me. I don't know why I'm hateful to people. I don't know. I don't want it, but it is there. Second, self-pity. When mental poisoning when you become attacked by mental poisoning that is influenced by people, you will start becoming self-pity. You start having self-pity. When you look at yourself, it's just like you look at yourself in such a way where you don't see much value in yourself. Now, again, this is different from a mental health. And then what? Old age. People are afraid of old age. A lot of people that are influenced by mental poison, and that's basically what is being pronounced on the street out there. If I tell you that 99% of the time when you go out on the street and you see things, you are actually being programmed and poisoned to buy things that you don't need. If I tell you that, what are you going to say? You're going to be like, well, how is that possible? But it is a fact. 99% of the time, what you buy is not what you need. What you buy is as a result of what you have been poisoned and strategically programmed to buy. It is a fact. And because 99% of the time what we are buying, what we are doing is based on what we are being strategically programmed to accept and to buy. We think that it is our free will that we're using to buy that, but it is not. Those that are the master manipulators, they know that it is not your free will. They know that you are being controlled to buy it. And that is why you must not let your thoughts to bully you. A lot of people have a bully that they carry in their head. Are you guys understanding me? Are you guys really hearing me? A lot of people, have a bully that they carry in their head. And this bully is always bullying them. Always, 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 always. It is always bullying them. But they don't know that it is the bully in their own head that is bullying them. When we talk about bullies, we think that bullies are just those people that is outside that inflict pain on people outside and everything. But you also carry your own bully in your own head. And hence you are being controlled by your bully, and your your thought is also bullying you, and it is bullying you in such a way that you don't even know. Before I continue, please kindly share this video. This is the first time I'm trying this, and to me right now I feel so happy about it a little bit because it looks like a podcast. It looks like a podcast, but please do share. You never know who is going to benefit from this conversation that we're having right now. All right. So don't let your thought bully you. Mind control is not something new. It is not something new at all. And because mind control is not something new, in fact, every time you see a television or a billboard advertisement for any kind of product, they induce a certain kind of hypnotic trance in you. Every time you walk out in the street, every time you see people, every time you meet people, every time you see things outside, whether it is on the television, whether it is on the advert that you see in the mall, whether it is on a newspaper, whether it is on the social media platform, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, wherever. Anytime you see something, it is actually putting you in what is called a hypnotic trance. And everything that is happening, is actually, everybody in your life is actually trying to put you in a hypnotic trance to accept what they want you to accept. That is a fact. That is a fact that you must understand. You see, for instance, the geniuses behind the television ad use humor to make people think and feel comfortable. People don't like to be told what to do. Like right now, if I tell you don't tap on your screen, you will want to do the otherwise. If I tell you don't send gifts to me, you will want to do the otherwise. So you see, the nature of people is that people don't like to be told what to do, and those people that are the master manipulators, they have found ways to be able to deceive people, to be able to manipulate people in such a way that the people don't know that they are being manipulated. That is the reality. And hence, they find a way to put suggestive words to people that people think that they are the one that is thinking of those things, but they don't know that it is a suggestive words that are used by master manipulators and master tricksters to be able to deceive you to do things, and you will think that it is in your own desire, in your own choice, in your own free will that you are doing this. First of all, am I being understood? Is my voice too loud? Am I speaking too fast? I don't know, because you guys can only hear the sound of my voice, so I don't know. How is it over there? I need to know. It's clear. Should I continue then? Okay, so I'm continuing. You see, this technique is used to gather information or to manipulate. Another person. See, this technique of the master manipulators, whether they're using a television ad or they're using the newspaper or whatever it is that they're using, is used to gather information from about you so that they know how best to manipulate you. The easiest way to make people do things that you want them to do is by playing with their emotion. That is a reality. And that is why any man of God is gonna, for any man of God to be able to really talk to you or say things that really influences you, they must play with your emotion. They must tell you things that either make you feel high about yourself. And that is why people, you see, a lot of people, they have what is called a balloon head. Their head is as big as a balloon. And hence, when you inflate it, when you inflate it a little, they become the source of their own death. And that is what a lot of spiritual people, whether they are form of pastors, they are man of God, they are ministers, they are just master manipulators. Are you understanding me, my brothers, my sisters? They are just what master manipulators, and the easy way they can manipulate you is by inflating your balloon. Inflating the balloon of your ego, inflating the balloon of your of your thought. Oh, you are such a good person. Do you know you are blessed? You are so blessed. You are so like this, you are so like that. And what's going to happen? Your own head will start getting big. The coconutness of your own head, the balloonness of your own head will start getting big. And then what's going to happen? You will not know when you will start taking the money from your own pocket to fill in their own pocket. You will start, you start taking the money from your own pocket to fill in their own pocket, and what are they going to keep doing? They will keep saying things to you to keep inflating your ego. To keep inflating your ego. But the problem with the balloon is that the balloon does not have a sense of direction. Are you guys understanding me? The problem with the balloon is that what? The balloon does not have a sense of direction. It just goes wherever the wind blows it, and that is how it ends and kills itself. When you inflate a balloon with air, it goes up. And it just keeps going up. The more you inflate it with air, the more bigger it becomes and the more easy it is to be destroyed. So you must learn to deflate your own ego's balloon. For if you don't deflate your own ego's balloon, the universal pain is going to forcefully deflate it for you. So, here to you, my brothers and my sisters, that is listening to the sound of my voice, this is why you must understand that your mind can either be a boon, which means that your mind can either be a blessing or a curse to you, depending on how you allow it to be susceptible to hypnotism. Your mind can either be a boon, which is a blessing, or your mind can become a curse. That, to you, depending on how you allow your mind to be susceptible to hypnotism, it can be programmed and reprogrammed. Actually, everyone's mind can be programmed and reprogrammed. And that is why you must be careful of the poison of the palate. You must be careful of the poison of the palate. What is the palate? The palate is your tongue. You must be careful of the poison of your tongue. One of the easy way people can easily be mentally poisoned is through their food. We're not talking about food poisoning here. We're talking about what? Food. The food you eat. Every time you go out on the street, you see an advertisement for a food. You see how nice the food is being presented. See, when people take photographs of food and they post it out online, what are they trying to do? They are trying to condition your mind to imagine how wonderful that food is going to be, that even if you've not even eaten that food, you've already started tasting that food. Let us do a simple experiment right now to all of you that is listening to the sound of my voice. Can we do an experiment? It is nice to prove with some point. Can we do an experiment? Okay, let us do an experiment. I want you to think of an apple. When you've thought about an apple, I want you to just write that, yes, I have thought of an apple. I want you to think of an apple. Now that you've thought of that apple, I want you to hold that apple's image in your head. Very good, very good. You're doing nicely. You're doing nicely. Now that you've thought about that apple's image and you're holding the apple's image on your head, I want you to taste the apple. I want you to eat the apple and taste the fragrance. Taste the apple in your head. I want you to do that. Have you? Have you done that? Did you taste the apple in your head? Did you taste it? Did you feel the aroma, the taste of the apple in your head? Did you? It's very sweet. Now the question is, how are you able to do that? There is no physical apple in your front. You don't have a physical apple with you right now. There is no physical apple. You don't have anything with you. But in your head, you see an apple and you are eating an apple in your head. And you are also doing what? You are getting the taste, which is the juice of how the juice of the apple, how it tastes. How are you able to do that? Is somebody understanding? How are you able to do that? From where is that coming from? How is it that your subconscious is not with an apple at the moment? Your subconscious is not with an apple, but at this instant that you just thought about an apple, immediately the fragrance, the aroma of an apple automatically, when you thought about eating the apple, immediately the fragrance and the aroma of that apple automatically just become present. Now let us do another experiment, should we? Should we do another experiment, everybody? I am not seeing people's comment here on YouTube. I hope you guys can hear me. Should we do another experiment? Okay. Now, I want you to think of a ripe banana. I want you to think of a ripe banana. hold on to the image of that ripe banana. Now that you've held on to the image of that ripe banana, excuse me, I want you to peel the banana, and I want you to eat the banana mentally and feel the aroma of the banana. Did you do that? Did you feel it? Did you peel it? Did you taste the aroma of the banana in your head? Did you? See? So basically, how do you don't have a physical banana with you, but just by thinking of a banana, just by thinking of a banana, what happens? You create the aroma of that banana. And this is the way people are mentally programmed and mentally poisoned. When you look at something outside, when you look at the picture of a food outside, you've not eaten that food, but mentally you start getting the aroma of that food. How do you do that? Because you create your reality before your reality becomes manifested outside, it is manifested inside. Is somebody understanding me? Hello, Susie, how are you? Before your reality becomes manifested outside, it is manifested inside first. And because your reality is manifested inside first, before it takes shape outside, a lot of people that are the master mental manipulators, they know how to reprogram your reality within before it starts becoming, how do you call it? Before it starts becoming physical or known on the physical level. And that is why you must be careful of your palate. You must be careful of your tongue. It is easy. You see, the nature of the tongue is that the tongue wants to taste everything. The tongue wants to taste everything. The tongue wants to eat everything. The tongue wants to taste all kinds of aroma. That is the nature of the tongue. And what is the nature of the stomach? The stomach just wants to keep everything in it. It wants to swallow everything. Whatever it is you put in the stomach does not discriminate. It wants to take it all in. But that is where you must learn to control it. For when you don't learn to control the palate, when you don't learn to control your tongue, you don't learn to control your stomach, you become a puppet. You become what? A puppet in the hands of the master manipulators. And how is it that people easily manipulate people? They easily manipulate people through food. That is a fact. People are easily manipulated through food. The way to the man's heart is through his belly. Have you heard of that statement before? The way to a man's heart is through what? His belly. So you must be very, very mindful. You see, there was once a time whereby the Ottoman Empire was fighting against the last Constantine in Turkey, in Istanbul. You see, the Roman Empire, under the jurisdiction of Constantine, was in Rome. But then when Constantine, created Christianity, and Christianity was created, and it was thriving, and it was as its peak, the last emperor of Rome, that was known as Constantine, was stationed in Istanbul. Istanbul then was the center of mystical Christianity. So he was stationed in Istanbul, and when Ottoman, Mahmud Ottoman, the main Ottoman emperor, when he came to conquer Istanbul, Constantinople, Constantine and the people that are the militaries and the soldiers, they were very good. They were very, very good. The Ottomans could not penetrate into the capital of Istanbul for so many days, so many months. They laid siege, but they could not penetrate. Then they developed an idea. And what is that idea? Starve the people in. You see, food is a strong momentum for people. And that is why in warfare, for any war to be fought, whenever war is to be fought, you must make sure that you make a lot of arrangement for food. For when there is no food, it demoralizes the morale of the people. And that is why you see a lot of arrangement is made for food. For when there is abundance of food, what is going to happen? The people will feel more interested to fight. Food. A lot of people sold their ancestry, their people into slavery because of food. I've seen many parents, there are so many people that have even sold their children because of food. So food is a very strong motivation for people. Food, the stomach. And that is why in the act of warfare, if you want to defeat anybody, first of all, starve them of that point of food. Starve, not water is one thing, but these two things, starve them of food and starve them of water. They will naturally want to do what? Surrender unto you. And this is how Ottoman was able to defeat Constantine, the last Constantine in Istanbul. This is how he was able to take over the country, the nation of Istanbul. He starved the people. And when you starve them of food, they naturally lose morale. And the easy way also to condition people to do what you want them to do is by what? Cutting off their ration. And that is why you see many people that are mental manipulators, the easy way they manipulate people is through food. Because when you manipulate people through food, people, they become a puppet. If you want to train a dog, train the dog through the food. That is the way. That is how it has always been. So that is why you yourself, as an individual that is listening to the sound of my voice today, you must be mindful of your tongue. You must be mindful of your palate. It is not everything that is sweet and juicy that is outside that you are interested to eat. Any man that can control you through food is a man that has full control over your life. That is a fact. That is a fact. So you must be very, very mindful. Since time immemorial, food has been a major source of emotional trap that has been used to control people, nations, and empire. In the art of warfare, one of the major ways that enables victory is food control. Food plays a big role in boosting the morale of the people. That is why you will see that for any major warfare, food supply is very, very paramount. This has been strategically used since the beginning of warfare. Once upon a time, I think I've just explained the Ottoman Empire to you, but I'm going to explain it to you guys again. Once upon a time, the Ottoman Empire, that is to the people that are just joining us for the first time, the Ottoman Empire defeated the Roman Empire in Turkey simply by what? Cutting off their food and water supply for days. After days of laying siege, by doing so, it greatly affected the morale of the warriors and the people that they had no other option than to willfully surrender. When a human being is starved of food, it brings out the survival instinct in them, and they will be ready to do anything to survive. Are you guys listening? Please, are you guys hearing me? When a woman or a man or a human, even an animal is starved of food, it brings out the survival instinct in them. And because it brings out the survival instinct in them, immediately what they want to do is, how do I survive? I need to survive. If other people die, I don't care, but I need to survive. Once Stalin, the dictator, a lot of people know who Stalin is. He was an Italian dictator. To prove a point to his commanders on how people can easily be controlled, caught hold of a dog and a chicken. So he held the chicken in his hand and pulled off all of its feather. The chicken cried in pain. It was crying and railing, in pain. And he dropped the chicken on the ground. Then he brought out some grains from his pocket, which he then threw in front of the chicken. Instantly, the chicken forgot its pain and started pecking on the grain that is on the ground, forgetting that it has just a few minutes ago, all of his feather has been pulled out of his body. Not that he's dead, but they pull it out of his body, and after just pulling it out of his body, they just leave the chicken on the ground. It was wah, 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 and they throw grains in the front of it, and instantly he forgets his pain and just start focusing on eating the grains. Same also, he took the dog. He took a big cane and flogged the dog. The dog was howling in pain. However, Stalin took a big fresh meat and threw it in front of the dog, seeing which the dog forgot his own suffering and just started licking on the blood of the fresh meat and on the bone of the fresh meat that has been put in front of it. This is the nature of people. Thank you very much, for the gift. This is the nature of people. This is the nature of people. The dog was being beaten and just been throwing food in front of it. It forgets its own pain and just start focusing on eating the food and wagging its tail. If you brutalize people and you give them a little reward, they will easily forget the abuse that they have suffered. It is unfortunate. Actually, this is the unfortunate reality of us as humans. When people experience pain and trauma, and you give them a little reward, they easily forget the pain and the trauma that they have experienced. Easily. They easily let go of the pain and the trauma that they have experienced. It is unfortunate, but this is just how it has been. Thank you very much, Susie. This is how it has been. When a worker, a man in the company is working and has worked himself so hard for the company, and he's so traumatized, but when the company just give him a little reward, he keeps his mouth shut. When people experience a lot of abuse and the abuse has been so traumatic, but when you give them a little reward, they are ready to let go of the abuse and just forget the abuse and just focus on the little that has been given to them. This is the nature of people, and this is how many master manipulators continue to manipulate people and keep people under their manipulative tactics. Another interesting point here is the fact that brutality and suffering is transferable. You must understand that brutality and suffering is transferable. One of the most effective way of transmitting suffering is by touch and food. Please, is somebody understanding me? Brutality and suffering is transferable. A lot of us, we are suffering from the traumas of our ancestors. 99% of the suffering that we are suffering is not even our own suffering. It is the traumas of our past ancestors. Majority of the past suffering of our ancestors has become a trauma that is ingrained through the flow of the consciousness of our blood. And because it has been ingrained in the blood, we don't even know where the suffering is coming from. We don't know how we come across the suffering, but it is just there in the blood. Because what? It is suffering is transferable in as much as blessing is transferable, suffering and brutality is also transferable. There is a study that suggests that during the killing of an animal, when an animal is being killed, the oxytocin level in the animal is raised exponentially. The oxytocin is the fear factor, that which makes you to feel fear. The fear factor arises when the animal witnesses other fellow animals being slaughtered in a most horrible and gruesome way. When that oxytocin level is so raised and the animal is saying that he is being killed and he's going to be next, this oxytocin is transmuted into the consciousness and their flesh. And when people eat the flesh of this animal that have experienced this level of anxiety and this level of stress, and that oxytocin has been released in the body, they also that consciousness become transmuted to them. That is why we see many people who eat meat, who are heavy meat eaters, suffers from disease that are related to the body and the mind, like mental anxieties and fear. A lot of people that have a lot of mental anxieties and fear are people that eat a lot of meat, especially red meat. Whether it is a red meat, it is chicken, it is goat, it is whatever kind of meat you eat. If you are a meat eater, naturally fear will always torment you. Now, the reason why this fear is there is because of the oxytocins that has been released in the animal that you've eaten. Whether you've kept the animal in your fridge for 9 days, 10 days, 1 month, whichever month, but it has been released in the body. When you take a knife and you cut a person, there's a lot of fear that the heart rate and everything just increases at that point. And when you take that meat and you eat that meat, you are inheriting the fear of the animal At that moment of it that it is dying, you are inheriting the anger of the animal. At that moment that it is dying, you are inheriting all the stress and all the sickness and all the anxiety of the animal at that moment that it is dying. And that is why you will see a lot of people are anxious for no reason. They don't even know why they are anxious. That is a fact. A lot of people get easily jittered. Hey, and every little thing is a trigger to them, and they don't know why they are triggered. When you ask them, why are you triggered? What is it that is triggering you? They cannot give any concrete explanation. Because what? The oxytocins, the fear factor of the animals that they have eaten has been transmuted to them. And that is why you that is listening to the sound of my voice today, you decide whether you want to continue eating an animal, you want to continue eating a flesh or not. And this is also transmitted to children also. There are a lot of children that they are very, very restless. Why are these children restless? Why? It is because of what? The animal that they have eaten. There is a statistic study that shows that people that eat a lot of meat are prone to explosive anger. it is amazing, right? But it is a fact. There is a study that shows that people that eat a lot of meat are prone to explosive anger, and at the same time they are prone to suffering from what? Unnecessary anxiety and unnecessary fear. Like, they just become overwhelmed by fear, and they don't know why fear is coming to them. So yes, this is something that I want you guys to understand. And then on another point, you must understand that you are also a product of psychic inheritance. You must understand that what you are also a product of what? Psychic inheritance. Now, a lot of people might have heard me say this before. We are all product of psychic inheritance, which is true. Which is very, very true. All of us, every one of us on the surface of this earth, we are product of psychic inheritance. Just a minute. They appear to be. Okay. I think I should be coming back live now. All right. Can you guys hear me, please? Am I audible enough? Am I audible enough? Okay. So yes, like I was saying, we are products of psychic inheritance. All of us, every one of us. That so long as you are born a human, whether you are a meat eater, not a meat eater, whatever form you are a product of psychic inheritance. And because we are all product of psychic inheritance, we don't really know why certain things happen to us. You must understand that to a certain degree, we all inherit the good and the bad traits of our parents. To a certain degree, you must understand that we all inherit the good and the bad traits of our parents, like their physical features, oral expression, as well as our thinking patterns, which relate to the mind. You and I are product of psychic inheritance, most often the primordial darkness of our parents, unexpressed conflicts and vengeful thoughts, their unresolved, unconscious and frustrated energy comes to roost in us, their children, in the later part of our life. What do I mean by this? What I mean by this is that most often, the darkness of our parents, the negative thoughts of our parents, those thoughts that they don't express freely outside, the negative tendencies of our parents, whether it is sexual tendencies, frustrated, whatever kind of tendencies, it comes alive in us, their children. Some people have a very strong affiliation for sex, and they don't know why they have this strong affiliation for sex. They don't know. Some people have this affiliation whereby every thought that goes on in their head is just dirty. They just have this dirty thought that always goes on in their head, but they don't know why they are having this. And then some people, they just, whenever they are talking to people, they always use abuse and curse. And they don't know why they do that. Because most of us, you must understand that the unexpressed darkness in our parents, their unexpressed conflict, their anger, their desire, whatever it is. If you're a woman and you were pregnant and you were very, very mentally disabled and you had a lot of desires, and it is going to come alive in your children. It comes alive in your children, and sometimes it comes alive early in their when they are young, and you are able to see it, or it comes alive later in their life when they are grown. 99% of the reason why you are suffering right now is not because of your doing, it's as a result of some of the psychic inheritance that you have inherited from your parents. The primordial darkness of your parents, the unresolved conflict of your parents, the negative thoughts, the unexpressed and the vengeful nature, the vengeful thoughts of your parents, their unexpressed consciousness, unconscious and frustrated energy, it comes alive in you, and that makes you keep going left, right, center. A lot of people are not able to stabilize themselves in one religious path because they are being tormented by the unresolved desires of their own parents. Why? Because their parents were not also mentally stable, so their parents don't know where to put their head. So the children also, you grow up and you just find yourself, today you are interested in Muslim, tomorrow you are interested in Christianity, tomorrow you are interested in Buddhism, tomorrow you are interested in this teacher, tomorrow you want to go to this teacher, tomorrow you want to go to that teacher. Why? Because it is the unresolved conflict in your own parents that is pushing you left, right, center. Are you understanding? The unresolved conflict in your parents, that is pushing you left, right, center, and you don't know why. A lot of people don't know why. They're just moving left, right, center. It's like an automatic command that your body just starts relating to. So we must understand that. And if you are a parent and you are having children, understand that your children also are going to express your own unresolved conflict, your own unresolved, frustrated energy, whether it is sexual energy, it is anger energy, what kind of energy it is, your children are also going to reflect it. One form of this, psychic inheritance is a story of a father that is a drunkard. Now, I want you guys to see a comparison here. There is a father that is a drunkard. Now, this father, being a drunkard, he has two sons, with the eldest son and the younger son. Now, the eldest son, seeing the father being a drunkard, was very, very repulsive of drinking, that he never drank. And the younger son, seeing the father being a drunkard, he became very, very addicted. He also became very, very attracted to drinking. One day, a journalist was, taking an inventory and looking at the life of these two brothers. He asked the elder brother, why is it that you have never drank in your life? Why? And the elder brother says, I should drink. Don't you see the kind of a father that I have? Don't you see look at the kind of a father that I have? If I start drinking, what do you think is going to happen to me? Just look at the kind of a father that I have. And then they go to meet the younger brother, and the younger brother said, oh, I should drink? Don't you see the kind of a father that I have? Why are you drinking? See, why are you asking me why I'm drinking? Look at the kind of a father that I have. So you must understand that our parents either act as an impulse for us to do good, or they act as an impulse that makes us to be repulsive towards something. And that is why I said to people some time ago that we all have an inherent fanaticism in us. A lot of people don't like to believe that they are fanatics, but it's the fact. We all have an inherent fanaticism in us towards our parents or towards our birth religion. If you are born in a particular religion, we all have a fanatic a connection to that particular religion. How? You either love that religion so much, or you detest that religion that you don't even want to, have any connection to it. That is the fanaticism that is in all of us. It's an inborn fanaticism. Fanaticism, sorry. I'm not so very powerful in the command of English words. Again, we all have a very strong fanatic, connection to our parents also. We either love our parents extremely so much, or we detest our parents extremely so much. Same. There's an inborn fanaticism in everybody, not just only one person. Don't just not just one person that is fanatic. Everyone has that inborn fanaticism. And do not take away people that says to you, oh, do not be fanatic. They are also fanatic. The only difference is what you are fanatic towards is different, but everyone has that. We can either love our siblings so much or we detest our siblings so much that we don't even want to associate with our siblings. It is the inborn fanaticism in all of us, and that is why you will see a person will say, I will be a Christian till I die. And same also you will see a person is going to say, I'm a Muslim till I die. And then same also you're going to see people that don't even like Christianity. They were born in Christianity, but they just transform. They don't want to do anything with Christianity. Anytime they hear that word, they run away. At the same time also you're going to find people that are born in Islam. Anytime they hear that word, they run away. Our ancestors have that primordial fanaticism in them. And that is why they easily discard the gods of their forefathers. See, that inborn fanaticism in us makes us to want to appreciate other people and less appreciate our own people. Are you guys understanding? Are you guys understanding? That inborn fanaticism that we have in us makes us to want to, appreciate people, appreciate certain people more and disappreciate a certain people. And that is why sometimes you can also have a fanaticism towards your place of birth. Oh, you can either love your country of birth so much or you detest your country of birth so much. It is an inborn fanaticism that is in everybody. Some people are going to say, Nigeria till I die. I'm a loyal Nigerian person till the end. Some people are going to say, oh, what kind of a Nigerian is this? I regret being born in Nigeria. That is the nature of people. Why? Because it is the fanaticism that plays in each and every one of us. And because it is the fanaticism that plays in each and every one of us, we are all running left, right, center, being influenced by this fanaticism. At the same time also, that fanaticism also influences our relationship also. You must not forget that. It influences the kind of people we want to associate with. You can either say, oh, I don't want to associate with black people. Oh, no. Black people, I want to only associate with white people. That is a certain form of fanaticism, which is there. That fanaticism stems up from a certain unresolved, psychic inherited conflict. Now, another story I want to share to you is also the story of a man called King Vena. He's a very royal king, and he's very, very just. People know him as a very, very just king. This king was really desiring to have a child, and he did everything that is possible to have a child. Everything you can talk about, he did it. But he couldn't have a child. He did all the prayers. Everything you can call, he did it, but no child. Then one day he was told by a diviner, which is a psychic priest, and that told him that in your past life you were not a very good king, although you were very, very charitable, but you were not very, very good. And that is why in this lifetime you've been denied the access of having a child. But because you are doing good in this lifetime and you are being just, we are going to give you a blessing so that you can have a child. So they gave him the blessing to have a child. He had a child through the womb of his wife. And the child was born. The child was called Anga. This Anga was, by nature, right from when he was born, he cries, and he cries so loud that the crying disturbs people. There are some children, when they cry, their cry irritates people. I'm sorry to say, forgive me, but some children are like that. When their cry is like, it's not like a cry, it's more like a shriek. Like, how do you call it in English? Is it shrieking? Is it shrieking? I think so. Their crying is more like shrieking, So this child was like that. He cried, but his cry was more like, he was just shrieking. And every time it discomforts people. The child, Anga, started growing up. He was growing up and he was growing healthily, but he has a very narcissistic way, which is whenever he plays with people, he plays with his friends or anyone, whenever he plays with his friends, he does not end the play until he kills the friend. So every time he plays and people come around him and want to play, he kills them. So this makes people to be very, very fearful of him, that whenever he's passing, people run and hide. Hey, here comes evil Anga, here comes evil Anga. They hide because they don't want to be killed by him. The father, seeing this, could not say anything because he has been desiring to have a child for a long time. So he just kept quiet, observing the child and praying in his heart that the child is going to change. But the child was not changing. He was not changing at all. And because the child, was not changing at all, he was so disturbed that what kind of a child is this? He's not changing. What kind of a child is this? The child grew up. It is said that when this child grew up and the father left home, in ancient time, it is the duty of the father to leave home when his son attains maturity, especially when the son gets to the age of 25 onward. The father should leave home, because if the father does not leave home, the son becomes the enemy of the father, and the father becomes the enemy of the son. That is a fact. That is a fact. In ancient time, it is the practice. When the father sees that the son is getting to the age of 25, the father does not control the son. The father leaves home for the son. Else, the son becomes the killer of the father. The greatest person that hates you is your son. That is a fact. Just as you are also a hater of your father. You might say that, no, I love my father to the end of my life. My father is my life. It is a lie. You are a hater of your father. That is a fact. That is why it is said, that is why in ancient time, the ancestors put it that the children, when we get married, that men should get married very early, at least by the age of 16, 17, 19, because that is when the genital starts rising, and the genital is very much interested in wanting to taste the genital of another woman and stuff like that. By the time the person is 19 or gets to the age of 20, 19, 20, he gets married. By the time he gets to 25, he has his first child. So by the time the person gets to the age of 50, that child that was born at the age of 25 is already 25. When the person gets to the age of 50, or when he gets to the age of 55, the child is already 25. And hence, he should start gradually leaving home. But when the person stays home, the child starts becoming his own competitor, and he starts becoming a competitor of his own child, and hence hatred starts coming in. This was the practice, and this was one of the law that was set down by the ancient ancestors. The reason for this is when a man gets to the age of 55, you should start reducing your activities with family and start going more inwardly. But people right now at the age of 55, that is when they want to start enjoying family life. But that is when you start dying the more. Anyway, let me not go too far. So this king, left home and left the kingdom for his son. It is said that during the period whereby this son was ruling, his reign was so powerful that even thieves were afraid to go and steal. It means that he was a very good dictator. His reigning was so powerful that even thieves were afraid of going to steal in the house of other people. Yeah, thieves don't fear anybody. But because this king was ruling, this evil anger, the thieves were so afraid of, hey, I don't want to be killed. They were afraid of going to steal. But he was so puffed up and so negative-minded and so evil that he was killed by the kingmakers. The kingmakers killed him because a lot of atrocities and inauspicious things was happening in the kingdom, which was not nice. The duty of the kingmakers is to be able to protect the kingdom, not the king mainly, but the kingdom is their main focus. So they killed him. Now, when they killed him, they asked, why was this child born like this? His father, the lineage of his father were saintly kings. The lineage of the father of King Anga, when he was born, of his father, King Vena, they were all saintly kings. They were known as the kings that were saintly. So how is it that in the lineage of saintly kings, they have someone that is as demonic as this? Then he said, it is not from the lineage of the father, but it is because the child was born through the womb of a woman that was the daughter of a demon. The mother of King Vena of King Anga, was born, she was the daughter of a demon king. And because the son was born from her womb, the son got the negativity of his mother's lineage. That is why you must understand that the womb is also very, very important. A lot of people don't want to take this seriously, but you must understand the number one place where your children start having psychic inheritance is from your womb. And that is why before a woman goes around and starts saying, I want to start having a child, you must purify your womb. And when a woman is pregnant, every negative thought that you are having, whether you are extremely very, very jealous, you are extremely very, very angry, you are extremely very, very mentally depressed, that child inherits all of that. And if you come from a lineage whereby the people who are very, very sinful, the child also inherits that. And that is why in ancient time, when a woman wants to get married, when a woman is getting married and the man and the wife, they are planning to have a child, they pass through a certain ritual to be able to cleanse. It is called the ritual to cleanse the womb of the woman, to cleanse the consciousness of the woman. Because you must understand that the physical womb is there, that is where the child is growing, but the child is actually not growing in that place. The child is growing in the womb of the mother's mind. And when the womb of the mother's mind is not properly cleansed, the child becomes negatively minded. So that is one point that I want to share with you guys. Now, another point is you must understand and you must learn to use the power of friendly persuasion. Are you understanding? Please don't stop tapping on your screen. Kindly share. And don't just be generous also with your hands. Keep tapping on your screen. And also do share gifts with us. If you are feeling, if you are learning something. You must learn to use the power of what? Friendly persuasion to be able to talk to your mind. A lot of people don't use this. A lot of people think that their mind is just there. And hence they don't know how to use the power of friendly persuasion. You must learn the power of friendly persuasion. Friendly persuasion is one of the most easy and powerful techniques that is used by con men. First of all, use friendly persuasion to talk to yourself. Another point is you must be careful of what is called friendly persuasion also. Because one of the most easy technique that is used by con men is friendly persuasion. Before anybody kill you, before anybody abuse you, before anybody take advantage of you, the four of us come in the forms of friends. The four of us use friendly persuasion to be able to disarm you, to lower your guards. Are you understanding me? Am I audible? Should I stop talking, or you guys are hearing? Janil. Hello, Janil. Are you still there, or is another person that is there? Okay, you guys hear me. I should continue then? Okay. Friendly persuasion is one of the most easy, one of the most easy and powerful techniques, that is used by con men to gain your trust. If a person wants to call you on the mobile phone and scam you, they will four of us pretend to be somebody that you know. They will four of us use the persuasion to be able to, to be able to disarm you for you to be able to trust them. They will, they will do what? They will four of us use this. They will use techniques for you to be able to trust them, and then they stab you. Then they take advantage of you. So friendly persuasion, is one of that techniques that are used by con men, and this is what you must be careful of. Understand? This is what you must be careful of. Friendly persuasion. Why? With friendly persuasion, it is difficult for you. With friendly persuasion, it is difficult for us to differentiate between a wolf or a sheep. It's very, very difficult. And this technique is used a lot by so many so-called men of God. This technique is used a lot by so many. Anybody that is in your life, actually everybody in your life is using friendly persuasion. I won't be surprised that even you yourself, you're also using that, that friendly persuasion on somebody else. So friendly persuasion is very difficult for you to be able to differentiate who is a sheep from a wolf, or who is a wolf from a sheep. With friendly persuasion, you can show to others that you care for them, which is likely to make them feel more comfortable for you to be able to manipulate their thoughts and their action. If a person wants to take advantage of you, if person must first make you feel so comfortable that you start thinking that the person actually cares for you. You will start thinking a lot, and this is when it concerns love scamming. When people say, "Oh, someone scammed me because of love," or "Someone scammed me because of property," whatever, whatever. First of all, the people, they make themselves so easy for them to be able to, manipulate you by first of all disarming you, by showing you that they love you. And a lot of people, I think I have seen that a lot of people in Africa, a lot of people in Europe, men and women alike in Europe, they fall easy prey to this, to this friendly persuasion. They make you, for them to be able to attack you, they will make you feel that they love you. And you feel so comfortable around them that you don't know, before you know it, they've attacked you. So with friendly persuasion, you can show to others that you actually care for them, which is likely to make them feel, comfortable for you to be able to manipulate their thoughts and their action. This technique has been used by religious leaders, politicians, teachers, media people, narcissists, or basically people in power to manipulate and control people. A person on the internet, when you go to social media, people and everything, you see so many celebrities, they will laugh at you and think that, make you feel as if they love you, but they don't love you. They don't want anything to do with you're just using the friendly persuasion to be on your good book for them to continue to manipulate you. And this technique is an age old technique, because it has been there since time immemorial. Because it has been there since time immemorial, this technique is very, very subtle. It is the most subtle of all technique. Every other technique is easy, you can easily see it. But this one of friendly persuasion is very, very subtle. And that is why a lot of women are actually more prone to this, attack than men. And sometimes also, on a scale of 1 to 10, 7 men are also prone to this friendly persuasion by women. A lot of men come on the internet in search of love, and what are they going to do? You meet people that will try to cajole them, to make them feel that they love them, they care for them. Same also for women. Oh, they make you feel they love you, they do this, they do this, then before you know it, boom, I'm hungry, I need your money, I need this, I need that. And then at the end of it, you are so deep into that friendly persuasion that you are not able to come out of it. So this technique, because it is very, very, it is very, very subtle, and because it is very, very subtle, it is used to control people's thoughts in their favor. A lot of spiritual men, they use this a lot. They will use it to control your thoughts, in your favor, because they just need you to keep giving them the money. Then 99% of, I'm not going to equate it as 99%, but some people that are so-called spiritualists or stuff like that, they don't really care for you. They just need what it is that they can get for you. So they put you in that point whereby you feel so much loved and so cared for and all of that. The question you should ask yourself right now, after hearing all of this that I've spoken, is: are you under any kind of spell of friendly persuasion? You should really sit down and, after hearing this analysis that I just explained to you, you should ask yourself: are you under any spell of friendly persuasion? And if it so happens that this conversation that we are having is bringing some enlightenment to you, do not be stingy in liking. Do not be stingy in liking, and do not be stingy in appreciating. Now, I want to talk to you about understanding psychic power. Before I go into that, do you see yourself as under any spell of friendly persuasion? I want you to be truly honest with yourself, because to be truly honest with yourself is that step at which you can be able to move, forward and advance to the next stage, whereby you are able to free yourself and be able to be uplifted. Do you see yourself as a person, or are you under any friendly persuasion spell at the moment? Pretty Menu says yes. I see. That's nice. That's nice. Akro says yes, I do. Okay. 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 Suzette says, I don't have one friend cause from school days and witness during my life. I don't need. Okay, that's very good. That's very good. Is any of you under a friendly persuasion spell? Have you fallen to the allurement of friendly persuasion? A lot of actually a lot of women are falling trapped to this, because if a man wants to have, a lot of women have actually fallen trapped to this in terms of for sex. A lot of women are fallen trapped to this for sex, whereby the men, yeah, and also men also have also fallen trapped to this because the women needed money from them. Anyway, you guys understand, the point. Thank you all very much for your sincerity, for telling us and everything like that. Miss Elizabeth, and all of you. Thank you. Okay, now let us talk about understanding psychic power. What is psychic power? What is psychic power? A lot of people believe that psychic power is limited to the ability to be able to make things appear and disappear. But I tell you, this is not psychic power. A lot of people believe or think that, to see things that are not easily seen by the physical eyes, and in this context, a lot of people are bound by the trickery of con men and magicians, because they think that psychic power is to be able to, is the ability to make things appear, disappear, to be able to see things that is unseen by people, to be able to prophesy the future, blah, 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 blah. And because of this, they are under the spell of con men who call themselves spiritualists. They are bound by the trickery of con men and magicians. It is important that we understand the difference between a magic show and true psychic ability. Psychic power is the ability to be in alignment and in oneness with the universal cosmic energy. Genuine psychic power does not entail in disappearing or manifesting of items. A lot of people fall into this trap of so-called psychic healers, psychic prophets, etc. Once there was a lady who was having a problem in her marital life. She came to meet me, and she explained certain things to me, and I'm going to use this as an example here, to explain certain things to all of you. And please, I just want you to listen. And so once there was this lady that was having problem in her marital life. She met with a so-called, psychic person who has the ability to see into, other dimension and heal all kinds of problems. In her desperation, she approached him to make things work better for her and her husband. The healer said, "No problem, I will cure you of your problem and restore the love between you and your husband. But for me to do this, I need to come to your house and do some sacrifice." Should I continue? Are you guys hearing me? Hello, Ramatahiru. How are you? Are you guys hearing me? Should I continue? Okay. So, he said to her, for me to be able to heal and make things better for you, I need to come to your house, and do some sacrifice. The woman agreed. They fixed a date, and the psychic came when the husband was not at home. They light candle around themselves, and he summoned a spirit and started speaking in different, in a different tongue, eating broken bottles and not bleeding, which terrified the woman. It terrifies the woman a lot. The man is eating broken bottles and he's not bleeding. He then proclaimed that the house will be peaceful, now that the spirit has been manifested in the house. However, there is a condition. What is the condition? The condition is that the woman, The condition is that the woman has to slaughter 7 piglets as blood offering for the work that is done. Either she do this or she have sex. She have a sexual relationship, with him. The sidekick said this, and he said that if she does not do any of this, she will die, and there's not going to be peace that is going to prevail in the house. The woman is already fearful. I'm already fearful that something bad is going to happen to her, and she does not want to kill pig, and at that point there is no pig. This was not explained to her before that, okay, get some pigs. There was no pig around that she's going to kill. So already so fearful, and there's no pig, and the exact amount of pig that is required to be killed, she has no choice than to accept that, okay, she's going to sleep with him, because that seems to be the only plausible alternative at that point. You see, she slept with him, and after she slept with him, she just did it. She did it out of fear, because I don't want the spirit to kill me. I don't want the spirit to kill my husband. I've already, how do you call it? I've already called down, I've already gotten into this. So okay, it's just sex that he wants, and it's not like a continuous thing. It's just one time. So okay, let me just do it, and it becomes my secret. You see, if you analyze this story that I just explained to you right now, which, by the way, is a life story, there are a lot of people that are like these women, that are like this woman that has fallen into things like this. Are you understanding? Are you guys hearing me? There are a lot of people that are like this woman that has fallen into these kinds of trap. And also there are men that has also fallen into this kind of a trap. In the course of them going to meet a prophetess, they end up having sexual relationship with the prophetess. It is a fact. Please, what I'm saying to you guys right now is a fact. It is a fact. So there are a lot of women. Let me also tell you one other story. There was one child. I call her a child, although she's quite matured. She's quite mature, but I call her a child. There was one child that she was in a relationship with a man that was married. And the man promised her a lot of things, up and down, heaven and earth, and she was so in love with him, and he so happened to be the first person that she has been in a relationship with. So in the course of the man's wife came to find out that the relationship, this young girl is having a relationship with her husband. She fought and she cautioned the girl, but the girl was so much madly in love, with the man, that she started going left, right, center, looking for a witch or a mystical person to do something for her to be able to get the man back. She went, and then she met one fellow like that, and the fellow said to her to come inside, that she's gonna do something. And in that process, she went inside, and how the conversation starts going till she saw herself naked and saw herself having sexual relationship with the man. It's something that she does not know how to explain. How did it happen? She cannot explain it. She went to solve a problem, to go there to solve a problem, and after just going to solve a problem, she does not know how the conversation just transmitted and goes round and round and round and round and round, and what she come to understand is that the man is on top of her and she is naked, and they are having sexual relationship together. They finish, she went home, and her problem is not solved. But the man put a condition and put a curse. If you tell anybody this thing, I am going to kill you, because I have already put my spirit in your body. I'm going to kill your mother, I'm going to kill your brothers. And the girl was so terrified. It is out of the terror of that she came to meet me. These are life stories, by the way. I'm not going to share all of them to you guys, but I'm saying this to you because you should understand that you must be mindful. You must be very, very mindful of this. These people that so-called call themselves having psychic powers. You must be very, very mindful. And to understand what is a psychic power, a person that has psychic power is a man or a woman that has the ability to transform your life for the positive, for the best. It's not a person that does abracadabra, magic, etc., for you. It's a person that just seeing them or having an association with them or hearing their words has become a sort of tremendous transformation to you. It's a transformation, that has transformed you in such a way that you are a better version of yourself. Those people that are able to do that, I would say those are people that really possess the true psychic power. Not a person that puts a lot of fear on you or condition you to so many things and stuff like that. So basically, if we analyze these stories that I just explained to you right now, we can see how the woman placed under the illusion of some extraordinary force and had no other choice than to go along with the psychic demands. And also you see a lot of people, this is what they do also. A lot of people, out of vulnerability of their situation, they will go to meet so many people that are spiritual people to tell them to help them. Now the spiritual people sees them and start using them as a milking bag, a milking cow. So every minute they will call them, hey, you need to do this ritual, you need to do this ritual so that this does not come. They instill this fear so much in the people that the people have no choice than to just keep doing ritual, and they are not seeing any change in their life. And people also people are also very, very lazy, in the sense that they tend to want to be very, very dependent on spiritualists. So if they have a little headache, instead of understanding why they are having headache, they will, tell me, what is it that is making me to have headache? Is it that somebody is doing something to me? Oh, in my place of work, this man does not like me, that woman does not like me. Can you do something so that the woman can just start liking me? When you see, a lot of us, we want to do rituals for people to keep quiet to our shitty activities. So whatever shitty things we are doing, nobody should talk about it. Nobody should complain about it. Oh my god! But anyway, this is what it is, and hence we fall into this kind of people that uses us as a milking cow. You see, when this woman approached me, I instantly took pity on her and I explained to her how she has been mentally manipulated into having sexual relationship with a psychic, which was already a premeditated goal. You see, the man that is the psychic knew beforehand that he wants to have sexual relationship with a woman, and hence he programmed himself in such a way, premeditated himself in such a way that boom, he started doing that, and there are a lot of people that are falling into this right now. There are a lot of people that are falling into this right now. So, who is a true psychic? Who is a true psychic? Or what is true psychic power? It is the ability to transform a person's life positively, connecting them to the true essence and giving them a sense of calmness and clarity of mind. That is true psychic power. Do you understand? Ruth Boakie, thank you very much for sharing this with me, Ruth Boakie. That is true psychic power. It is the ability to transform a person's life positively, connecting them to to their true essence, and giving them a sense of what? Calmness, clarity, and clarity, and helping them to live by the standard of what? Truthfulness and sincerity, and always be in the now, not in the past, not in the future, just be in the now. Don't be a slave of your imagination. A lot of people are slaves of their imaginations. Do you guys understand me? Do not be a slave of your imagination. People are slaves of their imagination. It's unfortunate, but it is the truth. It is the reality. Oh, the mobile phone is going down. Let me connect it. Don't be a slave of your imagination. This is something that I really want to explain properly to all of you. You see, the nature of the mind is to wonder. The nature of the mind is to wonder in imagination. Why? because imagination creates a sense of reality that we hide in. It is the plane at which the ordinary mind uses to travel beyond time and space. Everything is conceived out of imagination. Imagination is also the rope at which the intelligence is bound. There are two types of mind: the undeveloped mind that has suffered due to abuse from early childhood, and the mind that has been loved from childhood. For both, the imagination is not the same. It is also important to understand that the moon plays a major role in our imagination. Every 14th day of the new moon, the mind is under a very strong universal current um, that if it is not guided with intelligence, people get lost in delusion, you know, and images of schizophrenia, appear. Is it an example? An example is this. Let's say a person that is schizophrenic. A person that is schizophrenic hears voices and believe the voice to be true, but does not know where the voice is coming from. The ordinary eye and mind. In the ordinary eye and mind, there is no voice. So who is it? Sorry, to the ordinary eye and to the ordinary mind, there is no voice. But then the question is, who is it that a schizophrenic person is speaking to, and is also hearing that is speaking back to them? A lot of us we also fall into schizophrenic phases every 14th day of the moon. And because we fall, especially of the new moon, we fall into these schizophrenic phases, but we don't know, we are not conscious of it, but we all fall into it. The essence of not being a slave to your imagination is to be able to use your intelligence as a bridge between reality and that which is not reality. Some people are so deep in their imagination that they are not anchored. They are not anchored to the real state of things. It is also important to understand that imagination is a fragment of a distant reality of a past life that we have lived before. But due to cosmic vibrations, influenced by the moon, the mind gets disconnected. The mind gets anchored to these thoughts. So this is what I want to talk to you guys today about mental poisoning. I'm done for now, and I'm open to questions. Any question? I am going to have to end here on YouTube, so I can continue here on TikTok. Thank you guys on YouTube. God bless you, and see you when I see you again. Bye.